This is Zanis News. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Amos Zulu. Here are the top stories. Chinese government to fast-track issuance of export permits for silk production. African leaders challenged to invest in the youthful population. Outbreak of anthrax affects butchery business in Choma. And BRE praise government for Mongo airport upgrade. And now the news in detail. President Hakainde Hichilema, who was in Saudi Arabia to attend the inaugural Saudi-Africa summit that aims to unlock Africa's potential to develop using its vast natural endowment, has arrived back home. President Hichilema's plane left King Khalid International Airport in Riyadh at 10 hours Zambian time. While in Saudi Arabia, the head of state addressed the summit calling for partnerships between the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Africa that will help create job and business opportunities for Africa's youthful population. Henry Himonde is in Riyadh and now reports.
President Hakainde Hichilema has left Riyadh, Saudi Arabia after attending the first ever Saudi-Africa summit, whose objective is to strengthen efforts aimed at finding innovative solutions that will enable Africa to leverage on its natural resources through cooperation and partnerships with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Yesterday, the president addressed the summit where he emphasized the need for partnerships that will benefit Africa's youthful population with jobs and business opportunities. The president pointed out that the summit also provides a platform for cooperation that will result in realizing Africa's potential in various sectors. He also called for a return to peace in regions experiencing conflict in order to reverse the negative impacts the conflicts have had on individual countries and the global economy. Henry Himonde reporting in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Chinese ambassador to Zambia, Du Xiaohui, says China will facilitate and fast-track the issuance of export permits for silk production at Mupika Sericulture Silk Farm in Mpika district in Mchinga province. Ambassador Du, who took a familiarization tour of the Mupika Sericulture Silk Farm, says that China would like to strengthen its cooperation with Mchinga province. The silk farm has not been able to produce the final product, which is the fabric, due to lack of an export permit.
The Mupika Sericulture Silk Farm, which is a wonderful group of companies project, has a 5-year plan of growing up to 4,000 hectares of mulberry plants. The company seeks to create employment and value addition is top on its list. At the moment, Mupika Sericulture Silk Farm is not able to produce the final product. This is why Chinese ambassador to Zambia, Du Xiaohui, has told the Zambian government that China will facilitate the issuance of the export permit.
Actually, to export silk cottons is not the goal of Wonderful Group. They want to export the finished product. Between China and Zambia, since last year, 98% products made in Zambia, tariff-free in China. I want to solve problems. Very first one is export permit.
Mchinga Province Permanent Secretary Henry Mkungule says the company will contribute to the development of the country.
As we increase on the value chain, I believe that a lot more employment is going to be created for our people, and by so doing, we are going to generate revenue for the district, revenue for the country, and thereby contributing to the general GDP of the nation.
We are grateful that China has stood by us. And today the solutions come again. What do we need? What we need is to sell so that we can generate income. When we generate income, then we expand further.
Peggy Coutinho for Zanis in Mpika, Mchinga Province.
Now, Ikelengi District Administration in Northwestern Province has started sensitizing government policy implementers in the border town to provide guidance on government plans to escalate mutual cooperation with Angola Ikelengi District Commissioner Andrew Mpiakula has since called on heads of government departments in the area to support the ongoing efforts by the government to accelerate trade and cooperation. We get the details in this report.
Following a trip to Moxico province in Angola by the Northwestern Provincial Administration, talks of enhanced mutual cooperation between Zambia and Angola have escalated. Strategic border towns like Ikelengi district bordering Angola are now being prepared to align with government's policy on cooperation with Angola. Ikelengi District Commissioner Andrew Mpiakula has highlighted education, health and agriculture as areas in which the government of Angola is facing an acute shortage of human resource and would like Zambians to go and work in that country.
They were very straight to the point to say, no, we've discovered that English speakers are more exposed in the world than us who speak Portuguese. So they are actually asking for English teachers first. Then when we came to health, we told them we have doctors with different specialization. We have nurses with different specialization.
Policy implementers in Ikelengi are happy with the exchange that has been held here with the district administration.
We can learn something from where the DC visited in Angola. There are ideas that he has shared even with us that we can learn from in terms of infrastructure, how we do our infrastructure here, education, health, agriculture.
The issue of human resource. So we need to place ourselves, especially when you look at Northwestern, Ikelengi in particular, the young population of Ikelengi. We need to look at those opportunities that have been opened up.
A delegation from Angola is expected in Solwezi this December for a reciprocal visit widely seen as a promising step in regional mutual cooperation between Moxico and Northwestern Province in Angola and Zambia respectively. Victor Mwila for Zanis in Ikelengi, Northwestern Province.
Northwestern Province Permanent Secretary Colonel Granson Katambi says the government is committed to creating policies that promote businesses in the country. Speaking during the Provincial Business and Investment Exposition in Solwezi, Colonel Katambi, however, stated that businesses that pollute the environment and do not give back to the community will not be allowed.
Western and Kalumbila Chamber of Commerce have hosted the third Provincial Business and Investment Exposition in Solwezi. The expo, which has brought various businesses and the banks together, is meant to attract investment and grow the provincial economy. Angolan consul is present and shares some investment opportunities in his country.
There is a national plan to promote grain production that Angolan government has put in place, and so with an average annual investment of $670 million for the production of meal, rice, soybeans, and $471 million for the construction of infrastructure to support production. It's also an opportunity here that Zambian business people can take advantage of.
Provincial Permanent Secretary calls for active participation from the private sector.
The new Dawn administration wants the private sector to play a significant role in this economy, just as it is the case in Angola.
Meanwhile, Northwestern Chamber of Commerce pledges to continue connecting Zambian businesses to foreign markets.
We need to work closely with all stakeholders in removing the barriers of trade in the region. Trade barriers that are currently existing among Zambia, Angola, and Congo.
This year's Provincial Business and Investment Expo is being held under the theme Promoting Business Partnerships and Trade Linkages for Sustainable Growth. Reporting for Zanis News in Solwezi District, Jennifer Mtoshi.
Still in business news, government has challenged beneficiaries of the empowerment grants and loans to utilize the money to improve their lives and help fight poverty. Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu says government recognizes the invaluable contributions that small and medium entrepreneurs play in driving economic activities and providing employment opportunities for the population. Sylvia Zulu reports from Lunte that the Permanent Secretary said this when he handed over 5.3 million kwacha as empowerment grants and loans to 142 groups, cooperatives and business entities.
These are some of the 142 groups, individuals and cooperatives that have been empowered with grants and loans under the 2023 Constituency Development Fund, CDF Empowerment Component. Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu handed over the funds to beneficiaries amounting to over 3.2 million kwacha in loans and over 2.1 million kwacha in grants.
We hand over the 2023 CDF loans to 41 beneficiaries, amounting to 3,219,153 kwacha, and 2023 CDF grants to 101 organized groups, amounting to 2,129,672 kwacha 57 ingwe to our small and medium enterprises and vulnerable groups.
The Permanent Secretary also had a word of caution to beneficiaries.
Alama shakufuntulemi kalile Yesu. Ishinda lama shakulenga tufume mubupina. Ishinda lama shakulenga tule kyoku lomba lomba.
And beneficiaries of the loans and grants have thanked government for the empowerment.
Kutoka sana kuri government, new Don government, and for the previous government. Tachadi chaba hizo kwa kuti wasenda ko ukwata kwa chaka niko kuma loans ya palangefi.
We are looking forward to create employment so that we can help the government to sustain the living of the people in Lunte.
Kabiri ishara tuwafako na mku itwala pantanshi mutuma kwe wotu nono pamonga bana mayo.
Reporting for Zanis, Sylvia Zulu in Lunte District.
Minister of Green Economy and Environment Collins Nzovu has called on African leaders to invest in the youthful population of the continent through provision of opportunities for growth and development for young people. Mr. Nzovu stated that, that African leaders must enlighten the young population to survive the advanced technology such as artificial intelligence, especially the girl child. He said this during the closing ceremony of the Africa Population Experts Committee and Ministers in Charge of Population meeting in Lusaka. And Democratic Republic of Congo Minister of Health, Kamba Roger, stressed the need for collaboration in fostering development in Africa. Speaking at the same event, United Nations Population Fund Executive Director Diane Keita recommitted to work with African Union AU member states to take forward the recommendations adopted during the review. Meanwhile, AU Commissioner Mina Tasesioma expressed gratitude to all participants from various African countries for coming up with recommendations that will enhance the implementation of the AADPD program.
It is clear that Africa has a youth population where most countries are still experiencing high population growth due to high levels of fertility. This demographic situation comes with opportunities for progress and prosperity, a window of opportunity we cannot afford to miss.
We should move together, that Africa should unify so that we are able to get somewhere. If you move alone, despite your individual strength and you always be prey to somebody else.
Together with the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA, and the African Union Commission, UNFPA, will continue to work with member states and regional economic communities to take forward recommendations adopted today as your universal organization, United Nations. I am submitting formally and very respectfully to your high attention to allow the UN through ECA and UNFPA to play through you our full role and be full part of the Secretariat. We have the strong technical expertise to support you effectively and efficiently.
At ECA, we stand ready to continue working with you, all of you, in moving the needle for those that still are left behind, strengthening the institutional capacities of population policy, galvanizing the African voice, particularly the voice of young people at the regional and the global fora, invest in the partnership and commitments that respond to commitments outlined in the ICPD program of the action and the Addis Ababa Declaration on Population and Development above all.
Continental document must not just gather dust in drawers. All member states must be involved so that we have a better development for the 10 years to come.
Minister of Health Sylvia Masebo has reiterated government's resolve to create sustainable livelihoods for the youths in the wake of climate change. Ms. Masebo has observed that climate change has disrupted livelihoods for most vulnerable communities, resulting in young people resorting to unsustainable and environmentally friendly activities for survival. She said this is why the government has embarked on a number of collaborative efforts aimed at devising lasting solutions to the problem. The minister said this in Chongwe when she officially closed a 3-day Urban Features Project workshop for the youths organized by the Consumer Trust Society, CATS International, and the Global Network Solutions with support from HIVOS. CATS International Country Director Angela Mulenga explained that the project is targeted at addressing the high unemployment level by creating green jobs in the agricultural value chain. Meanwhile, HIVO's regional coordinator, Runyara Chibota, says her organization is committed to supporting youths to become drivers of change in addressing the negative effects of climate change.
As we gather here today, let's remember that the youth empowerment is not just a government priority. It is a collective responsibility that involves all stakeholders in our community. Chairperson, I want to inform you that even the CDF fund, which has been decentralized to the communities through the constituencies, it is meant to actually empower the youths so that the youths have some kind of fund that they themselves can decide what their priorities are and they themselves can apply. As you
also how the jobs can also create a sustainable food system value chain, and also to try and map out different partners who can actually contribute to the creation of this job creation, and also to allow the youth to also participate in the policy space where allows the young people to be the drivers of change, to say how can we build a climate resilient Chongwe, looking at green spaces, green jobs, also looking at the food systems, and we're looking at the whole value chain from production, consumption, post-harvesting, and we're saying how can we bring in technology as well, creativity, innovation, and creatives to help us change these narratives, to help young people care about their environment.
And in a related development, the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit DMMU National Coordinator Gabriel Pollen has challenged all members of parliament to be advocates of climate change. Dr. Pollen says the country faces unprecedented challenges due to the shifting climate patterns, and it is imperative that lawmakers take the lead in sensitizing their respective constituencies on the effects of climate change. The DMMU National Coordinator said this when he officiated at the Parliamentary Committee briefing on disaster risk management and financing workshop. The workshop was jointly organized by DMMU, World Food Programme, and the Africa Risk Capacity Agency.
A parliamentary committee briefing on disaster risk management and financing and the African Risk Capacity Programme in Zambia has today been held. The Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, the World Food Programme, WFP, and the Africa Risk Capacity Agency, ARC, jointly organized the workshop. The objective of the workshop is to raise awareness of disaster risk management and financing, identifying synergies and fostering a much-needed understanding of disaster risk financing for members of parliament.
Really help us to understand the issues that we face and for us to serve you better as our members. I'm looking forward to the conclusions drawn from the discussions that unfold over the next couple of days.
DMMU National Coordinator Dr. Gabrielle Pollen has since urged the lawmakers to be advocates of climate change in their respective constituencies.
For members of parliament, indeed you hold a unique role in society, a position of influence, and as you represent the voices and concerns of the people, we urge you to grasp the full extent and scope of the threats that we face with climate disasters and the need, therefore, for the initiatives such as the African risk capacity to mitigate the impact on the most vulnerable sections of society.
The United Nations and the World Food Programs stands ready to support Zambia in climate change awareness.
The UN system in Zambia through the World Food Program is excited to partner with the government and the Africa Risk Capacity Agency to support an app replica insurance product for 2023-2024 season to complement the insurance policy currently being purchased by the government of Zambia. The app replica policy will further increase coverage, particularly for smallholder farmers' households and drought-prone districts.
Fred Chatila is the chairperson of the Planning and Budgeting Committee.
Members of Parliament present here, and maybe those who are not here, that will just start, because this is a very key aspect. And not only will it help our colleagues, but also from our side, our members of the constituencies who gain quite a lot.
Jane Simalumba Zanis in Lusaka.
Over 8,000 men in Copperbelt's Mufulira districts have received voluntary medical male circumcision this year. Speaking during the district's launch of the 90 Days Medical Male Circumcision Challenge being conducted with support from USAID, Mufulira District Administrative Officer Zakeyo Kamanga revealed that the district had an annual target of 13,262 this year. Meanwhile, residents of Mufulira have called for increased sensitization on the medical benefits of male circumcision.
In a significant health stride, Mufulira district on the Copperbelt province has achieved 8,344 voluntary medical male circumcisions since the start of 2023. Speaking during the district's launch of the 90 Days Medical Male Circumcision Challenge, being conducted with support from USAID, Mufulira District Administrative Officer Zakeyo Kamanga revealed that this is against the backdrop of an annual target of 13,262 circumcisions set by the district.
When enough men in our community have undergone voluntary medical male circumcision, it will not only reduce the risk for men, it will in turn reduce women's overall risk in acquiring HIV and cervical cancer as well.
Residents of Mufulira district have urged the Ministry of Health to intensify community sensitization efforts regarding the benefits of voluntary medical male circumcision. It would be good if they extend this sensitization to communities so that people understand. If they conduct door-to-door sensitizations, people would have more knowledge on male circumcision. Scaling up voluntary medical male circumcision is a significant step in the ongoing fight against HIV/AIDS. Rachel Chisulo, reporting for Zanis in Mufulira.
Choma District Chamber of Commerce President Evans Chisenga has advised those in the butchery industry to diversify their businesses following the outbreak of anthrax disease in the country. Mr. Chisenga says anthrax has affected many butchery owners in Choma who risk having their businesses collapse owing to lack of regular income, adding that venturing into other businesses in the meantime would be better. Kostak Mudenda now reports.
The outbreak of anthrax disease has not only brought negative effects to livestock farmers, but the meat industry has also been affected. Abattoirs are quiet with no activity following the ban in movement of animals. A check at selected butchery outlet in Choma's central business district found most fridges and freezers empty.
People are not even asking for beef, so we stopped selling beef. As you can see, the fridge is empty. We are not selling anything.
The Choma Chamber of Commerce and Industry is concerned and wants those in meat industry to diversify.
It has affected the liquidity in our district. It also affects the economy, the national economy as a whole. I know some businesses that are in this business, actually, they don't do anything else. I'm sure this should be a reminder to them that they need to venture out into other businesses.
On the other hand, consumers have also been advised not to despair.
I would like just to encourage the public not to despair, but that we've got other healthy alternatives such as fish, chicken, and then we have got carpenter, and also we have the other plant sources, the legumes and pulses, such as the groundnuts. We've got bambara nuts or mbwila in Chitonga. We also have things like beans, cowpeas that we can go for.
Costa Kimdenda, Zanis, in Joma District, Southern Province.
Thank you so much for still staying with us. This is Zanis News. Now, as part of its gender mainstreaming agenda, the Rural Electrification Authority, REA, has empowered women in Chipata districts of Eastern Province with energy and time-efficient cookers to promote productivity. REA Director of Human Resources and Administration, Adrian Muchimba, who handed over the cookers to Mpezeni Women Area Association, said the move is meant to allow women adequate time to venture in economic activities by lessening time spent on preparing meals.
Appreciating the fact that the days of confining women to the kitchen are long gone, Rural Electrification Authority, REA, is coming on board to ensure kitchen work does not stop women from being economically productive. This is being done through the introduction of this pilot project in Chipata to promote the use of energy and time-efficient cookers. REA Director in charge of Human Resource and Administration, Adrian Muchimba, says this is part of the institution's gender mainstreaming policy.
We thought that as a pilot project, we could donate this to the women and it will help them in that one, it will help them use the energy that we've brought efficiently and so save more for us to be able to provide the same electricity to others. Secondly, the cooker is able to cook in a shorter period than usual, which will allow the women to quickly cook their food and be able to attend to other activities. And in that way, we contribute to gender mainstreaming in order to bring about the much desired economic development.
Mpezeni Women Area Association is the first group of women to benefit from this program in Chipata.
Kulima dimba, kulima munda, kuchita mushroom, kupanga sopo, vonse hivi group yuchita. Poto ava, kulingana na vatu chita value addition, tiko pikiramu, vosiana siana, tiko pikiramu nkhoto ya vana, chifua group yasu, timapunzisa cooking demonstration, kwa zimai vala vana na vana pakati kuti vakopika vakulia vamagula atatu. Basa kuti tikopika yako mjileza sopano, sati kusebenzisa nkuni aa. Kulingana na kusinta kwa nyengo kwa werapo climate change mapoto ya vatandizilenga kwa zimai kutopo sati wakwa ya kusanga kote vankuni aa. Tikongo silensi ya malaiti na sola.
With this empowerment, the women are now considering starting a restaurant business. Meanwhile, Eastern Province Permanent Secretary Paul Tole has been appointed ambassador of the project.
That is innovation. That's the way forward. Perhaps it will help us with the deforestation.
Abigail Kashweka, Zanis in Chipata.
One of the stories making headlines in our news, the Barroso Royal Establishment, BRE, has commended the government for its move to upgrade the Mongo Airport in Western Province. Speaking at a press briefing held at Limulunga Palace in the Mulunga district, BRE Ngambela Prime Minister Manyando Mukela said the upgrading of Mongo Airport will enhance its safety profile and enable scheduled civilian flights to commence. Ngambela Mukela said that the upgrading of Mongo Airport and commencement of scheduled flights operations will have a positive impact on the community in Western Province, such as job creation and reduced travel time, among others. He said upgrading works under Phase 1 of the airport involves the rehabilitation of the terminal building, the control tower, the fire station, and construction of the security perimeter around the airport.
The Barroso Royal Establishment, BRE, fully supports the government's plan to upgrade Mongo Airport in order to enhance its safety profile and enable scheduled flights to commence. We would also like to urge the community to cooperate and support government through their implementing agent, the Zambia Airports Corporation Limited, as they commence the airport upgrade works, which includes the reconstruction of the airport security perimeter fence, which is scheduled to commence on 17th of November 2023. Lastly, but not least, the Barroso Royal Establishment would like to call upon security wings and all members of the public to ensure that this infrastructure is protected against any sort of vandalism, as it is meant for the good of the whole community. Many thanks.
Minister of Education Douglas Syakalima has implored graduates at Kwame Nkrumah University to use education and skills to create a positive change to the next generation. Mr. Syakalima was speaking during the 10th graduation ceremony for Kwame Nkrumah University, where 975 students have graduated in different courses.
It is the 10th graduation ceremony for Kwame Nkrumah University in Kabwe, where 975 students are graduating, among them 433 males and 542 females. Kwame Nkrumah University Vice Chancellor Professor Alfred Mwanza wants the graduates to be poised to enter a multitude of professions and make a mark on the continent.
We are alive to the fact that to contribute to national development, we need to serve with excellency, and our graduates are ready. I have no doubt that with the introduction of entrepreneurship, as well as information, communication, and technology, or simply ICT programs at undergraduate level, our students are equal to the task.
Minister of Education Douglas Syakalima officiated the event.
Where there is great power, there is great responsibility. As you graduate, use your education and skills to serve for excellence. And in doing so, you will leave an indelible mark on the world, creating positive change for generations to come.
And Central Province Minister Princess Kasuni is happy that there are more female students graduating than the males.
First of all, we celebrate all of you. And secondly, we celebrate the fact that there is gender parity because we have more than 500 students who are female.
And one of the best graduating students, Teresa Mumba, implored other graduates to embrace the responsibility that comes with excellency.
We must embrace the responsibility that comes with our pursuit of excellence. We must use our knowledge, talents, and resources to serve our communities, advocate for justice, address environmental concerns, and promote the well-being of all.
Daniel Billy for Zanis News in Kabwe District, Central Province.
That item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a reminder of the top stories. Chinese government to fast-track issuance of export permits for silk production. African leaders challenged to invest in the youthful population. Outbreak of anthrax affects butchery business in Choma. And BRE praised government for Mongo Airport upgrade. With that, we end the news. Thank you so much for your time. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is Amos Zulu. Bye for now.